Okay, well, welcome to Quixotic Heights podcast, where we climb the peaks of creativity, resilience, and the human spirit. I'm your host, Amy M. Lee, and I'm joined by an extraordinary guest today, Duane Michaels. Duane's life reads like a novel, from a tough childhood to being coached as a boy by none other than Frank Sinatra, so we'll get into that. To serving in combat with the U.S. Army, returning home to wear the badge as a police officer, and eventually stepping into the world of acting and authorship. Along the way, he has collected a lifetime of stories that reveal the strength it takes to keep renewing oneself. And in this episode, we're going to discuss survival, transformation, and how storytelling can transform pain into power. So let's dive into the journey of Duane Michaels. Hello, my friend. How are you?
Hi. I wish I could get that introduction every time I go someplace. That was such a great introduction for me. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. We'll just have to re-record and you can send it to them. Um, so tell me about your quixotic dreams or dreams.
My dreams, you said?
Yeah. What's
Oh,
your
to
big
be my big dream. Well, I'm currently an actor, and all actors would say we're all struggling actors because we're all trying to get into the limelight a little bit more and get more projects done and get noticed. So I think my life dream would be to be noticed, maybe make a mark down one day, have a star of my own down in Hollywood, and people would remember me for being a good actor and a good person. So I think that's the two things.
Oh, that's beautiful. And
Thank
I'm with you. I would love to see your name, a big star on Hollywood Boulevard or wherever it goes. And yeah, that would be amazing. But let's go back a little bit to Frank
you.
Sinatra
Sure.
because you mentioned that to me in a prior conversation. It just totally
Yeah.
piqued my conversation. Share with us, how did that come about and how has that interaction shaped your life?
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's a great story. I was 14 years old, living in Reno, Nevada at the time. Kind of bouncing back around and back and forth with my parents. They were divorced at the time, or getting divorced. So kind of a rough childhood at that point. My father was struggling with mental illness at that point as well. So I was kind of attending to myself most of the time, and not being such a good attendant of myself, I would skip school and go skateboarding around town, and you know, just staying away from education for kids do that at that age if they're not being watched. So
Mhm.
so I missed so much school that they put me into night school. So where they put all the kids that have missed quite a bit of school or actually are acting up. So.
Mm.
I
Instead of breakfast
embraced
club,
it.
you had some sort of midnight snack club or
It
something.
really wasn't, they would give you a packet of papers and say, here, do this at your own pace. I think they were just trying to push you aside so you wouldn't disrupt school. So just by chance, Frank Sinatra was doing a tour at the Bally's Hotel Casino there in Reno, and it was called The Man and His Music Tour.
Mm.
And he, as a what do you call it, a charity event, went ahead and I'm sorry, I'm getting little pop-ups on my phone here. Sorry about that. He sent his manager to the night school as a charity to get some of these troubled kids some help. So they divided us up amongst three different nights, and it was a suit and tie, so I had to wear my dad's tie and suit, and it was too big. It was pretty funny, and it was a 2 drink limit, so I got my 2 Shirley Temples, and we got to see the show. And of course, at that age, I had no idea who Frank Sinatra was. So we didn't have the internet back then. So I didn't know much about him except for the fact that he was a famous person. So,
Mm.
so I went and saw the show. The show was amazing. He sang, New York, New York. The only song I knew that he sang. And after the show was over, they took us all backstage. And just like Santa Claus, one by one, we went into his dressing room, and we got to talk to him for about 15 minutes apiece.
Wow.
And Frank,
That's
at the
very generous.
time, my father was not really there for me at that time. And I hate to say that, but he was not. Frank was there for me. Frank was there for that 15 minutes, made a huge impact in my life because he listened to me, first of all, and analyzed me really quick and basically told me how he was troubled as a kid, how he dropped out of school to become a singer and all these things. And just, sat there like a dad and listened to me and gave me some great advice. And right after that moment, I went on with my life thinking, I can do this. I can get back in school. I could be a better person. So I owe a lot of that to Frank when I was young. So pretty
Amazing.
insane. Isn't that
That's a
wild?
beautiful
Yeah.
story. Well, now in the world of social media and everything, have you ever reached out to like his family or his estate or anything like that to
No,
share
I
his
wouldn't even know what to
story?
say because I'm sure he's impacted a lot of people's lives throughout his career and whatnot. So I think it would be a little much. I just appreciate it and remember it and pass on the message that he was a great person.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. And again, very
Thank you.
generous of him and his PR folks or his management team to allow each child that 15 minutes of one-on-one time. That's a
It was
gift.
amazing. Yeah.
Okay, so you also, yeah, absolutely. And paying forward is what we're here to do also, to help the next generation. And you're doing that. You've been doing that, and we'll talk about that. But let's talk about your military service and combat experience. Tell us a little bit about why you joined the Army and what your expectations were versus the reality of it all.
Well, my mother was my rock. My mother, God rest her soul, she passed away a few years ago, but I was the only child, and she raised me the right way, and she joined the army. So when people used to tease you as a kid, say your mom wears combat boots, well, guess what? My mom actually did wear combat boots. So, and she
Mm.
was playing a role of a father and a mother at the same time. So she was a very big influence in my life. Um, so when I got out of high school, I joined the Army. It wasn't right out of high school. It was about a few years after high school. I decided to join the Army and kind of follow my mom's footsteps. And because at the time I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with my life at that time. So it seemed like a perfect fit. So I did. And I served almost 10 years. It was supposed to be 8, but they stop lost me after 9/11 happened. They wouldn't let me get out until that kind of got resolved. So, but I went to combat in Bosnia
Mm.
um, back in 94, 95 time period. And I was there for almost 2 years. And that really changed me quite a bit because obviously combat is not something you uh, want to see. But it was just part of my life at that time. But I came back after that, and I was staying in the Army a little bit longer, and then I got out. I reenlisted one time, and then got out. So I did almost about 10 years in the Army.
Wow. Thank
Yeah.
you for serving, Duane.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming back and
Yeah. Thank you.
continuing to share your story and serving with a great heart. Um, so what was the biggest thing that you learned about being in the military, and what advice would you give to someone who is enlisting or is in it now?
hmm Yeah. I think the one thing I took away from it was discipline and respect for the country.
Hmm.
Not to mention, I was in great shape when I got out. So, if you want to go in and get in great shape, the Army is, or any of the services are probably a good idea. Um, but no, I think I took away respect for my nation a lot more, respect for people that do fight for this country. And in the past, that I've read in history books when I was a kid, I had a lot more respect for those people
Yeah.
that helped shape the nation that we have today.
Yeah. And how was transitioning back into civilian life for you?
You would think it would be difficult, but right after I got out of the military, I joined the police force. And the police force to me was just is a paramilitary organization. So I basically just transitioned back into something very similar in the civilian world. So the transition wasn't too difficult for me.
Hmm. And how long did you serve on the force?
I was a police officer for 16 years. I was going to do 20. I had injured myself, and it was time to get out. But I got to take my retirement and get out. So 16 years.
Good. That's great.
Yeah,
Getting
yeah.
retirement. What is that these days?
Right. Yeah. It's just you stop one thing and start another. That's all it is to me. So.
Yeah, yeah. Well, okay, so from the police force, after that, you transitioned to what? Acting or storytelling? Which one came
No,
first?
actually, it's funny because I did comedy, stand-up comedy.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Yeah, so I was a stand-up. Well, when I was a police officer, every Wednesday I would go to the Looney Bin, which was the little comedy club there, and they'd have an open mic night every Wednesday, and you give you 5 minutes to get up there and be as funny as you can for 5 minutes. So I would do that every Wednesday, and I got really good at it. So they suggested I come back and do maybe 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. And then before you know it, I had a manager and I was traveling doing some comedy. And I did that for about 2 years.
Okay. Well, not to put you on the spot, but I just might, you might have to give us a quick little comedy
Joke?
routine.
Oh no. See, let's just say it's adult content and it's hard to just tell a joke, but let me think about it before we leave. Maybe I will. Maybe I will.
Okay. Sounds good. And
I
then
wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready.
I know, see, I told you in the beginning, this is going to be a candid, raw conversation.
Oh no.
Anything goes. Okay, so you were a stand-up comedian. What else? What's up?
Yeah, so my best friend I grew up with, his name's Robert Capilli. He's lives in California, but we grew up together, best friends, been best friends forever. But he just happens to be a writer also. In fact, he has a new book that just came out. I may have to give him your number.
Yeah, what's the
Um,
book?
yeah, he has a new graphic novel that just came out. But he's a writer, but he also is a producer and assistant director of making films in California.
Wonderful.
So him and I used to be goofy all growing up and things. And he said, you get this perfect personality. You should try to do acting. And I said, nah, I don't know. He said, try it. You should just try it. So I got coaxed into it and I auditioned for a movie called Promised Land and I got the part. And I for 30 days in Perryville, Missouri, we filmed this, and it's still in the works, and more than likely could be out on Netflix or some other show. I'll let you know when it comes out. But I
Yeah.
play the hitman Bert. So
And were there speaking roles in this one?
yes, I
Yeah.
had quite a few. I had to memorize lines and do the whole thing. It was really fun. So after that movie, I caught the bug and I decided to continue doing it, and I've been doing it ever since then. So
Wow. So
yeah.
what's the trick to remembering your lines?
There's a lot of ways. Some people use like the first three letters of each paragraph. They remember it that way.
Hmm.
Some people just by repetitive, just listening and listening to it over and over again. I myself, I get index cards and I just go through them like in my head, like several. Just like imagine I'm on set and I just go through the index cards until I get it. And it's just repetitive, and it's the painful part of being an actor. You have to memorize all those lines. So.
Yeah, that's amazing. And then do you have someone at home, your wife or your family members who can help you kind of role play these parts out?
Yeah, my fiance, we live together and she helps me all the time. In fact, behind me is this is my audition room right here, and she spends as much time in this place as I do. And so when we get an audition, I say we get an audition because she helps me she speaks the other parts of the audition. So
Uh,
she's very helpful. So
well, maybe she'll get the acting bug too, and then you guys can
that would be, she
be on
has the
screen
personality
together.
for it, but she is a very spiritual person and she helps people. She's also a Hebrew teacher, so she does a lot of stuff too. So it's hard to keep up with her. She does more than I do. So
Wow, wow.
yeah.
Okay, so you're acting and now you're also storytelling and you released your first book, is that right?
Yeah, I got my first book. It just came out. It's available on Amazon, and it's called Cop Inc.
Mm-hmm.
There's a picture of it right there for you. I wanted the cover to be really inviting to the reader and make it kind of not so serious, because when you read this, it's a lot of serious. So maybe
Hmm.
the cover kind of helps you with that. So a little bit, but
Okay. Well, please
um,
do a reading, yeah.
yeah, it's a collection of stories of probably the craziest stuff that ever happened to me as a police officer.
Okay.
And I got to the point where people were asking me all the time, "What's the craziest thing you ever happened to you? What's the craziest thing?" So I decided, you know what, I'm just going to write it all down. And so next time someone asks me, I just say, "Well, here, buy my book, so you can."
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Do you think there's going to be a volume two or a series?
yeah, I've been asked that many times, and I have notebooks and notebooks and notebooks that I kept as a police officer. I have plenty of stories, so more than likely there will be a volume two and possibly three. So
Okay, well, that's exciting.
yeah.
Please go ahead and read an excerpt.
Oh, okay. Well, a little warning. This one is not for the faint at heart. It's pretty bad. But this kind of gives
Okay.
you an idea of the stories that you're going to be reading here. So
Wow. Okay.
it's called Grandma in the Garage.
Oh no.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Oh no. Okay.
It's probably worse than you think. So are you ready? Okay, here we go. If you wear the uniform long enough, you accept that you'll see some truly crazy and tragic things. This was one of them. I was wrapping up an uneventful shift when a call came in. Junior, an 8-year-old boy, was running around a quiet residential neighborhood, pounding hysterically on doors and screaming for help. Earlier that day, Junior's dad, Bill, had been arrested for meth possession. Worried about Susan, his girlfriend, a fellow meth addict, would pawn his valuables, Bill used his phone call at the jail to ask his mother, Wilma, to pick up Junior from school and go get his things. I don't want to call Wilma an enabler, but she was always there for Bill. So she picked up Junior and headed to the house. Sure enough, Susan was already there, packing up Bill's stuff. Susan demanded Wilma leave and insisted Junior stay with her. No way in hell. Wilma turned her down flat, and an argument ensued. They decided to take it to the garage, away from Junior. And that's when things turned physical. Junior, frightened by the shouting, peeked into the garage where he saw his grandmother, Susan, fighting violently, slugging at each other. Terrified, he bolted down the street, banging on neighbors' doors until someone answered and called 911. Officer Franks and I were on the scene. Junior was shaking and sobbing uncontrollably when we arrived. I had dealt with a lot of scared kids in my time, so I calmed him down and I coaxed out what happened. Once we understood the situation, we ran to Bill's house. We approached the garage. We could hear strange noise coming from the garage, a harsh scraping punctured by low, wet gurgling sounds.
Mm.
My stomach tightened. I kicked the side door to the garage and we rushed in with our guns drawn. Inside, inside we found Susan standing over a garage sink holding a handsaw in the very last stages of severing Wilma's head off. There was a thick pool of blood sloshing around in the basin. Susan's face was blank, her eyes fixed straight ahead in a vacant stare. Put down the saw and let go of Miss Wilma's head, I ordered. It would almost sound comical if it wasn't so grotesque. Susan complied slowly, as if it was taking a long time for her mind to process what I was saying. She dropped the saw and put down the severed head and offered no resistance as Officer Franks cuffed her. I don't know what happened to her after that, but I often think about little Junior and what could have happened to him if he would have stayed to help Grandma.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
So, I can only imagine the many lives you've lived in this one lifetime already. And I mean, just that enough, I'm ready to go see a therapist. Tell me a little bit about um, how were you able to have such a love for yourself to continue to pursue your dreams and fight any demons you may have, and because you've been through a lot. You said you had a tough childhood. You were in
yeah.
the military and all this stuff. So mental health wise, what were you able to do to get you through day by day?
Yeah, it's not without struggle, but I have to say I'm a spiritual person, and that helps me. My mother, thanks to my mother, and I think that helps. Plus, I just feel like certain people are born to do certain things, and I just feel like I was born and built maybe the tough skin and just my personality or whatever it is. I feel like we're built to do certain things, and maybe I was just built to do that kind of thing, so someone else doesn't have to do that. So I'm happy that I'm able to do that because I know it wouldn't be for everybody, that's for sure. So I just think I was just built for it. Somehow throughout my life, the way I was raised, and my mother, and all the lessons I've learned in life, somehow I've come to that moment to where I'm able to do that. So that's the only thing I could really think of.
Yeah. Do you find that writing triggered you at all, or was it kind of cathartic and therapeutic for you?
Yeah, it was very therapeutic. In fact, that was the reason I decided. Another reason I decided to write was because it's therapeutic to me. I'm actually writing my life story right now as well, and
Hmm.
so it's therapeutic. And it's funny when you write your life story, you start remembering things that you forgot,
Mm.
and it's not always bad. So it makes you appreciate stuff that you forgot that was good. So I think that's one thing is also kind of counseling yourself at the same time when you write.
Yeah. So other than your mom, who was such a big influence on you, and of course Frank Sinatra in the early years, is
Yes.
there anybody else that you kind of hang your hat on and say this is home?
Um, my fiance and I, we've known each other since we were kids, and so she puts up with me still to this day. But she is an amazing rock.
Yeah.
Uh, when I wasn't working because I'm in between jobs, or I'm having problems, she just stepped up to the plate. And it's a 50-50 relationship, and sometimes it's 80-20, and she steps up to that plate sometimes. So yeah, she's a big rock for me, especially now, helping me, pushing me to write these stories and to share them with other people.
That's very special.
Yeah,
Yeah. So you also were recently on season 2, episode 1. Is that right? Of
that's right.
1983.
Yes,
Congratulations.
thank you very much.
Um, I did watch Yellowstone, but I haven't watched the origin story, of Yellowstone 1923. Was it Helen Mirren and Harrison Ford, right?
Yeah, Harrison
Okay.
Ford. Yeah.
But tell me a little bit about how you landed that role and what was it like working on set?
Oh, it was really cool. We filmed in Austin, Texas. Um, I landed there. I basically auditioned just like I always do. I probably average, when I'm really doing well, I'm averaging 10 to 20 auditions a month. And it's a number game. And so I just got so lucky to get the role of the tallyman, which is a British officer that I basically was in charge of the docks in England. So it was kind of neat. So I get to the studio in Austin, and I've got a full beard. I've got mustache, beard. I don't know what they're going to do. My hair, I don't know. My hair is in a bun right now, but it's down to about my shoulders. I got pretty long hair. So they have this big wardrobe and stuff, and say, do you have a problem with shaving your face? I'm like, no. So they shaved my beard and left this mustache, and I have this gigantic mustache. and and then they put my hair in a bun, and luckily it didn't touch my hair on my head, and they put it in a hat. So I looked really British. So if you watch season 2, episode 1, when the two famous actresses, the blonde, I can't remember their names, I'm sorry, the two famous women on the show are going to the docks. You're going to see them go right by me, and I'm at the desk trying to figure out what they're doing, and we get this little interaction. So it was pretty cool. I had to wear all wool in the summertime.
Oh,
It was supposed to be. They didn't make the costume. It was a real costume. It was real from the time. So between each takes, they had to come and sew up my arm because I had a hole in my. So I was sweating like crazy. But every 15 minutes, they would give everybody a break for about 10 minutes because it was really that hot. And we're outside, and they had this giant green screen that represents the boat at the dock. So yeah,
crazy.
it was just so much fun because I'm working with these big actors, and I'm walking by them, and they're within arm's reach, and I just want to grab them and go, help me help me get these big parts. And
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I'm
feel
sure
like a
there's
little kid.
some etiquette do's and don'ts that are
Yeah,
unspoken that you kind of have to learn.
yeah,
It's funny because I get really excited when I see famous sports people, athletes,
yeah,
um, actors and singers. Just I don't know. I don't get star crazy, but you throw in a Formula One driver or you throw in a Seahawks player,
Oh boy.
I'm just like, oh my God, oh my God.
Yeah, it's funny because if my mind and my actions were the same, they'd kick me off the set. So,
Yeah.
no, I was just totally stoic and stood there and act like, I'm professional and everything. But, the famous actresses are walking right by me in the scene and 1,000 times, and they're acknowledging me. They're looking at me and they're talking to me, and I'm like, man, I made it. I've made it. But of course, I haven't made it. But
Yeah. But
you
I
feel
mean,
great.
keep going because
Yeah.
you're gonna, I believe you're gonna eventually get that breakout role. I mean,
Well,
if
yeah.
you can handle, the heat and being in wool, gosh,
Well, I have a role that I did. I just got back not too long ago from Colorado. I
Mhm.
did a Western, and the person that's producing the Western, I cannot tell you, but I can tell you it's pretty cool. I want to tell you so bad. Maybe I'll tell you. I'm not supposed to tell anybody, so I may technically tell you after we're off. Maybe.
It'll be
Yeah.
our offline secret.
But
Um,
yeah, that could be a big thing for me because we filmed like a short film. They wanted to see how it went, and it went really well. And
oh,
so we could be shooting a full film after this. So if it goes, I'll let you know when we get off the camera here, and I'll let you know who it is.
yeah.
But it's pretty cool. I'm excited about that.
I can totally see you in Western movies. Like, do
Yeah,
you think that's going to be your little genre, your niche?
that's cool. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think you'd be amazing, and I can totally see the mustache and everything too. So, very cool. Do you like playing bad guys, good guys? Doesn't matter.
I always get typecast as a bad guy. So like I was a hitman in Promised Land. I this Western that I just did, I played like I'm like the outlaw guy that comes in and starts fights with everybody. So yeah, I don't mind. I think it's because I was a good guy my whole life. I know how to act like a bad guy. So
Yeah, yeah. Is it because you have long hair? I mean, it's so stereotypical, right? You have the long hair, you got the beard. Do you have
yeah,
tattoos too?
I do. I have tattoos and yeah, I can look pretty mean. I have this mean face. I've been told I can make this really mean face, so it's
Let's see your
totally the
meat face.
opposite of my personality, but so
I'm putting you on the spot. Oh man. Okay. See, the listeners have to watch the show. They can't listen to the show. They miss out on some of these things that we're we're seeing. We're seeing. Okay, well, I'm gonna throw you back on the spot. Do you have any comedic bits you want to
oh yeah,
do?
that a lot of my comedic stuff is adult content and it's hard to do on the spot because it's kind of like it starts off like, so how's everybody going? It's just kind of conversational and it goes into something else. But there was this, if anybody would oh man, I don't know if I'm not gonna do that one. It's really inappropriate. I don't
Well,
want
you
to.
know
I
what?
don't.
We can always record you doing one later and then stick
Oh
it
well,
in
yeah. I think back on my stuff, and I'm trying to think of how it works, like on this kind of format, but I don't think it will. I'm scared to say something because it goes off on some stuff, and
Okay.
yeah,
Fair
I'll tell
enough.
you one after I get off the. Once again, I'll do one for you, and you tell me what you think. So.
Okay. I love it. All these secret stuff, like bonus stuff.
Oh yeah, bonus behind the camera. Yeah,
Behind
director's
the
cut.
scenes, behind the camera with Duane. And speaking of Duane, so that is your stage name, Duane Michaels.
Yes, of
Would
course. Yeah.
you like to share your, like,
Sure. Yeah,
okay?
I don't hide it. My real name is Michael. So the way I got my name, my stage name is my middle name and my first name kind of swapped. So my real name is Michael Duane Chavez. So
Got it.
Chavez, yes. My family from a long time ago is from Spain.
Mm,
So
okay.
yeah.
And do you know how your family came eventually to the United States?
Yes. Well, my grandfather was in Mexico for a long time, and then my grandfather moved to San Antonio, Texas, and my grandfather will be 100 years old October 1st. So,
Wow.
yes, he's
Is
amazing.
that longevity in your family?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
my great grandmother was 104.
Oh
So,
my.
yeah, I'm actually 200 years old. I just don't look it. So, um,
It's the filter and the makeup, or is
yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah. I just, it's the coffee. But
Oh, there you go.
But yeah, my grandfather, really cool. story, real quick, is my grandfather lived in the very first Hilton Hotel
Where at?
in San Antonio, Texas.
Okay.
My great grandfather was a barber, and he had the first barber shop in the first Hilton Hotel. So they got to live into the hotel. So my grandfather was playmates with the Hiltons.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Really? Like the
yeah,
Paris Hilton's Hiltons.
yes, the Hiltons. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. It's one of those things where it's like, 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon, and now it's like whatever degrees of Hilton.
No, I think everybody's got neat little stories like that. But my grandfather he's still alive and he's 100 years old. He's got the greatest stories. He told
Mm.
me when he was, in San Antonio in Texas, he said every Wednesday they would hang people in time, like downtown. So he went to a Catholic school every Wednesday. Him and his friends would hop over the fence and go watch people get hung, and every Wednesday.
I
So
can't imagine.
just weird stuff like that. Like you don't hear stuff like that. So my
Yeah.
grandpa has got these great stories. I wish he'd write a
So
book.
does he just like randomly blurt them out, or is there like some teeth pulling to get those stories out of him?
No, oh no, he'll tell you. He's just like your typical grandpa. He'll sit there and tell you, "Oh, when I was," and you will spend hours. But one thing with my grandpa, I could spend hours listening to him. He's got these great stories. So
Uh, oh, and see, that's the thing. There's so much gold in that, so much treasure in that. And I feel like we don't take the opportunity, to record them or just spend time and sit with them and let them tell us the way it was back then, because we
yeah,
miss out so much. I hope you do that with your grandfather. Um,
yes.
and
He
I'm,
lives in California. He's kind of a distance away from me, but
yeah.
we're all planning to get down there. And he's in great shape. He's going to outlive everybody.
Yeah, no, that's great. I'm one of the things I'm doing is I'm flying to New York to host a storytelling workshop at the New York Public Library. And to me, that's how I got into writing too, was to tell my mom's story, and I think stories are so powerful. I can't wait to see what you're gonna do next. So do you do you want to share a little bit more about what projects you have in the pike that you can share?
Sure. Yeah, I've got a few that I can say something about.
Yeah.
I've got if you watch Spilled Paint is the name of the show. It's on Tubi. It's a series very similar to Breaking Bad, so it's got the violence, and so heads up on that. But it's
Wow.
on Tubi called Spilled Paint. I play the bad guy, of course. I play the Russian mob guy Zuri, Zuri. Also, I just finished not too long ago a horror flick called Culpa, Culpa, which I think it means fault. But I play a poltergeist. Uh, in the beginning of the movie, I get ran over by somebody who leaves me for dead, and when they later in life they're going to see me again because I'm going to return, and it gets really scary, and you get to see how scary I can be in this movie. So
Okay, that's
um,
creepy. Like my son loves those little what are their jump scares?
yes,
Are there a lot of that?
yeah, oh my gosh,
Okay.
yes, yes. I'll have to send you a couple photos from it, and you'll be like, oh my gosh, you look
Oh my
scary.
gosh. Yes, culpa. Okay. What else?
Okay, and then I did the movie Saw. We just did a Saw fan film, and it's a short film that should be coming out. A lot of these films will be in film festivals. So
Mm,
if you live in Oklahoma City area, you'll be able to probably see them a lot quicker than before they get on the theater. So,
yeah. Well, let me
um,
ask you
so
this too, Duane, because you're typically a bad guy in these movies.
yes,
And
yeah.
I believe one day you're gonna hit it. You're gonna get big and known. How would you protect yourself for the weirdo fans out there who think you are in real life your characters that you play on TV or whatever?
Wow, that's a good question. That's be spooky.
Mhm.
Hopefully nobody thinks I really am that kind of guy because when you see some of these films, I get pretty mean and things like that. So it's totally 180 what I am. I'm really a super nice guy. I come across as this open kind of person, but I can be kind of quiet sometimes and like to stay away from people. So I can see myself probably going out less if it got to that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hard, right? Because then you'll have these commitments, to appear at certain functions or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, and I do a lot of PR. I go out to a lot of film festivals, and I get to meet people and sign autographs and take pictures and stuff. It's really weird and surreal when you do it because you're thinking, why do you want my autograph? I'm just this guy, So
Mhm.
it's pretty neat, but at the same time, I can see it being scary later on if it becomes too big. Yeah, because you
Yeah,
lose a lot of your privacy.
yeah. Where are you calling from today?
I live in a small town, Lawton, Oklahoma, which
Mhm.
is, I believe, south of Oklahoma City, about 45 minutes, 50 minutes.
Okay,
I
okay.
grew up here. I came back here to kind of deal with my mom's passing. We had a lot of good memories here, and it's been therapeutic for me to be back home here, where I grew up as a high school kid. So it's kind of cool. And of course, my fiance who lives with me, we went to the same high school, so we're both kind of going back. So it's kind of neat. We won't be here forever. We're looking to possibly moving to Austin, Texas. So.
Mm. Austin, Texas. Isn't that where Joe Rogan says everybody needs to move to?
Yeah,
What
right.
is
Yeah,
the draw for Austin, Texas?
right. Oh my God. Well, if everybody does, it'll be overpopulated. So
Yeah, no
hopefully not too
kidding.
many people, but yeah.
Do you have a book signing or any author events or any?
Yeah, actually on October 11th, is a Saturday here in Lawton, Oklahoma at the farmers market. They have a new authors book signing deal going on. So it's at
Mhm.
8:30 in the morning at the farmers market here in Lawton, Oklahoma on the 11th of October.
Okay. Okay, well, that's good to know. We'll have to release this episode before October 11th
All right.
and get that promotion going for you.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Okay, I know we've been talking a little bit of some light subjects, but I wanted one of the things that I hope you can do is inspire the next generation or inspire other dreamers to not give up on their dreams. So,
Yeah.
could you share a little bit more in depth of maybe some of the challenges you've been through, and how you were really able to overcome them? I mean, part of it is your outlook and your
Mhm.
faith.
Yeah.
But yeah, whatever you'd like to share, I'd love to hear it.
I think everybody goes through struggles. My life was definitely not without struggle. I would break it down in categories. When I was a kid, I would shout out to the kids out there. It sounds hokey, but school is so important. I struggled through school because I moved around a lot as a kid. I would just tell kids really focus on school. It's so important. I know it's a pain in the butt. You don't want to go all the time, but you're going to feel so much better once school is over and you have that on your belt to move on. So education, I would definitely say for the youth, education. Don't waste your time doing stupid stuff out there. TikTok videos and stuff are great, but don't let it consume your life.
Mm.
I would say, my 20s, you should at this point have a career, get your career going, live your dreams. Don't wait till you're 50 years old like me to decide you want to be an actor. If that's what you want to do it. Don't just work to work. Work to please yourself as well as other people. I mean, work doesn't have to be a bad thing. So find a career that said around 20s, 30s. If I had to do it over again, I'd have been acting for sure. So, and then, guys my age, when you get up there, your retired age and stuff, find a hobby. I do art. I do a lot of reading, and of course, I'm writing a lot now. And so find something that you can do. Don't waste your life sitting around watching TV. So
Yeah, no,
I
that's
get
great
stuck in that
advice.
way. I get stuck in that way sometimes. I'll sit there and watch TV and I'm like, man, I could be doing a lot more right now. So,
Yeah.
get out, get away from the phone a little bit and enjoy life. And I say this, but I wish I could live up to my own standards sometimes. Sometimes I don't. So, but
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
and we're oftentimes a product of our society in terms of, what environment we're raised in, and you're right, the kids right now, they have computers at their fingertips and reel after reel, and it's very hard to not get sucked in because when you and I grew up, we played outside until the street lamps went on
that's
and it was
right.
time to come home for dinner. And
Yeah.
I just remember growing up not having to worry so much about keeping up with the Joneses or keeping up with the latest TikTok trend or whatever the case
Right.
may be.
Right.
and just looking inward to find that happiness. I think if we're able to somehow do that and tap into our inner self, the world is our oyster, really.
Right, that's true. And my kids were very lucky because I want to say my kids were almost the last generation of playing outside with their light with until the lights, went on. We My last place I was stationed when I was in the Army was Hawaii. So my kids got to grow up in Hawaii and go outside and play, and the weather was always nice and stuff. So I was very blessed when it came to that. But kids these days they don't go outside and play anymore. We need to get outside.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so you are also working on a memoir or an autobiography or whatever. Have you come up
Yeah,
with the title yet?
no idea. It's too early in the game. I'm going to have my Frank Sinatra story in there, of course, and there'll probably be a couple stories that are in my book now that will make it to the book just to make sense. And I've had a lot of really outrageous, crazy Forrest Gump type things happen to me in my life that will go in the book. I think are just amazing. So
Well, I
um,
can't wait to read it.
yeah, I can't
What
wait
is
to hear it.
what is the purpose of your book, and what is your intention for the reader?
I think it sounds strange, but I want my family history to like maybe 3 generations down the road, my great great grandkids can read about their grandfather and see what he went through, the struggles he went through. And I think when I met my grandpa at a later age, and he started telling me all the stories of his life, I was just enamored by it. I thought it was amazing. And so I want them to have that same experience. My great great grandfather was an actor and he was a police officer and he did all these things. So I want my history and my life not to be forgotten.
Yeah, maybe they'll dig up, in the archives this podcast that we're doing today,
Yeah. And
20
some
years from
aliens
now.
aliens from another planet will see this about 100 light years away.
Oh my gosh, they're gonna use us as a research thing and say, okay, this is what not to do and what to do.
This is what humans are like. We like
Yeah.
them. They're pretty cool. Yeah.
All right, I like that. Have you ever had any? I know this is really off tangent, but have you ever had
Sure.
any like encounters with, any extraterrestrials, or have you had any like near-death experiences?
The extraterrestrial thing, I have a weird story on that one. Me and my kids were fishing at 3 in the morning. When I was a police officer, we had a lake. The Union had its own lake, so we could go there whenever we wanted. And there was a little dock there, and it was like 3 in the morning. We had our reel, whatever, and this light went across the sky. It was green. It was a green ball, and we all three seen it, and we all watched it, and it was moving not that fast, but it just went right across our vision, and it was something that I'll never forget. It
Oh
was
my
not an
gosh.
it was not a meteor. It wasn't a falling star. It was moving too slow. It was just this giant green orb, and it just went across the sky, and we just all went like that, and we still talk about it every now and then.
Okay.
So
You're not a type O negative, are you? Blood type?
no, no, no.
So,
I'm an A negative.
oh, okay. Well, I don't know what that means exactly, but I actually spoke to Jackie Kraft yesterday, also on a podcast interview, and she wrote about some of my best friends are ETs, and it talks about how she, through her female lineage, had been visited by extraterrestrials,
Oh
and
wow.
one of the things that they were very interested in were humans with O negative blood types, because
Ah,
it is a source of healing, um, for some of the species out there. So, anyways, so I'm like, maybe you were, beamed up and you didn't remember because who
no,
knows?
that's weird because I've actually heard something that similar. It's probably the same thing where they say if you have O negative blood, then that means you have some alien blood in you or something like that. I've heard that
Mhm.
alien DNA in you.
Hmm. I
I've
also
heard
heard that
that.
O negatives are very nice people, so I don't know if that's true. We're
I feel like I'm
generalizing.
going. I feel like I should be wearing some kind of like aluminum hat right now or something. I don't
Oh my gosh, Dwayne. Is there anything else that you want to promote or talk about that we haven't covered yet?
No, I think we've covered quite a bit. I just want to reiterate my book. You can get it on Amazon. You just go into Amazon and search Duane Michaels, and it's the first book you see. Get it. It's also on ebook, so if you're a Kindle person, you can read it on Kindle as well. And one thing I would ask that you please give it a review, because it's hard to get reviews for books. So please give it an honest review, and I think it'll be a 5 star because I'm really confident in the book. So
Yeah, thank you. And I hope you come over to the Oklahoma City side, which is closer to my side, for future book events or
yeah.
Comic-Con or, whatever. Just, is there a website or a page that we can follow to learn more?
You can go on to my IMDb page.
Mm.
Just go to IMDb. It's the letters IMDb, and then type in the search engine Duane Michaels. When you find me, it's going to show you all my stuff that's coming up as an actor and photos, and I put a lot of personal stuff in there as well. So I upgrade it all the time, and you kind of see what's coming up.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Do you want to do any more readings or anything before we?
Not so much readings, but whenever we get off this, I probably have a joke for you, and then I'll have to tell you who is producing that film that I'm doing. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Sorry, listeners and watchers. This is going to be a little secret that Dwayne's going to hold on to for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you everyone for tuning in to Quixotic Heights. That was Duane Michaels. He's an actor, an author, a veteran, and above all, a storyteller of resilience. His path reminds us that no matter where we begin, we always have the power to rewrite our story. And if you found inspiration in today's conversation, please subscribe, rate, and share the Quixotic Heights podcast with someone who could use a spark of hope. Until next time, keep reaching for new heights and keep daring to live your own Quixotic journey. Thank you so much, Duane, for joining us and being on the show and being very authentic. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.